What's up, guys? We are live with the behind the scenes look. Um, Today, we're probably not going to stay in chit chat for too long. Uh, Here on the behind the scenes, I'm going to get going right into the podcast today. But just to give you a little bit of the behind the scenes, I was reading Expert Secrets this morning. Like it's now part of the daily daily routine to either be reading either .com Secrets or Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson and any other book that he sends my way, because obviously he feels like it's important. But it's always like this realization every time I read it. It's like Russell has summed this up several times before, like every time I get done reading this book, but it's like even deeper insight from a different perspective, different point of view. And sometimes that's what it takes. It's a little bit funny. This story, this is one of my geekier, nerdier nerd outs right here that's about to happen, but it's so pivotal to the storyline, and it obviously it makes me smile thinking about it, because it really like hits that emotional level within myself, and I hope it does the same thing for you guys listening. So here we go. I'm going to start so I can tell you all about that time I saw Scorpion. Yes, that Scorpion from Mortal Kombat give the perfect presentation on kids' martial arts birthday parties. It happened. So here is that story in 3, 2, 1. What's up, gearheads? Today on Marketing Siege Radio, I'm going to tell you a story that's real close and near and dear to my heart. It was one of those moments in life where it just every once in a while it comes along and just hits you on the side of the face, and you're like, I can't believe that just happened. Well, this is one of those times. I wanted that, and this happened at a time in my life where I was really wanting to learn business and sales. Like I was actually very receptive and open to it at this point, because I remember starting out in business. I had no clue what to do. I had no business experience. I had come from, being a school teacher and left that job. And at the time I was really chalking that up to like one of my life's greatest failures up to that moment. And then this also happened about a year after my ACL surgery, and it was just starting to kind of sink in that, while I was back and moving around and feeling good and in great shape, it was starting to hit me that my competition days, as short as it was for that 2-fight amateur career, it was just over. Like I knew that my body was not coming back to the degree I would need it to compete in the toughest sport in the world. It doesn't mean that I'm not still active. It just, I'm not gonna subject myself to getting leg kicked anytime soon. But I was really wanted to learn business and sales, and it was one of those things that always, I need to actually learn how to do this. I should actually learn how to make some money, but it was never an absolute must. But it was quickly becoming an absolute must at this point, because I wanted to feel successful. And I remember, the first time I heard this is like, the point of business is to make money. And I was just out there providing value, coaching people for free, training people, just giving all of myself. But I was quickly burning out. And as far as the numbers game goes, I was losing big time. It was tough. It was humiliating at time. I felt just extremely unsuccessful. I felt like the biggest screw up ever. It was like, it took me a long time to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up while I was in college. Then I quit the thing I ultimately went to school for. And then I tried MMA, and then I was out, and then I tried Twitch streaming, and I had burned out again because I had gone in with like the wrong mindset, and I was really afraid, honestly, of asking for money. But the thing that started to really shift and change that belief was in myself was whenever I read the book Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, and I watched the perfect webinar presentation that he did for the first time, and I was just completely blown away. I'm like, that looks like something I could do, because it was presented a way. It was like you teach, and then and you teach and sell them in the most non-invasive way possible by telling stories, and then you give them something awesome. And I was like, yeah, I got it. I didn't have it, but in my mind it was like, I got it. I'm ready to go. And the lessons and parables Russell taught in there, like I knew it was speaking to me, especially the one about the difference between teaching and selling, and like how you use stories to do that. And I remember every single sales presentation, whether it was an online webinar or in-person seminars that I was doing, they were just totally bombed, total failure, because I was teaching. I was spewing out all this information. I was telling them all the many tactics and reasons behind, and just spewing it out every time. And my story mirrors Russell Brunson so much on this, because it was like people would be like, dude, that was amazing, but they would never pay me anything. And Russell is pretty adamant, and has had other people tell him this as well. And it's something that I've had to personally drill in my head over and over again, is the only way for you to change someone's life is if they give you money. And I knew that to be true, because every time I had given somebody a diet plan for free, or a book for free, or coached them for free, they never actually changed. But the ones that paid me, not only did they change, they got amazing results, because they bought in. Where the money goes, the attention flows. And if I didn't have enough skills to get them to do that, to have that exchange in value, because that's all it is like, I used to be very emotional about money, and now I'm not. But I just wasn't getting it at the time. And by the time I had gone to, we were going to an event in Destin, Florida, Alan Belcher's event called Combat Business Live. I was at the lowest of the low. My wife was homesick, and she didn't get to come. And here I am, all of a sudden, like I'm surrounded by Alan Belcher, former UFC fighter. And I'd watched him and like be like, man, I wish I could do that. And several other people in the industry were attending that event, where it was like, dude, I cannot believe I'm around these people right now in this humongous hotel on Destin, Florida, on the beach. And meanwhile, my wife is homesick. And I was like, I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to understand everything there is to understand about business by the time this is over with. Like, that's just the way my mind works. And then we get there, and I'm reading who the speakers are, and I see Chris Casamassa, and I'm like, dude, that sounds so familiar. And then the session started, and I didn't get to keep reading. I just saw that name, and I was like, man, who is that? I know who that is. And then another guy that came and was like, dude, did you know Scorpion's going to be here? I'm like, Scorpion? Like, for Mortal Kombat Scorpion's? Like, yeah, the Scorpion movie. And I was like, no. Like, I totally fanboyed out. Like, as a kid, I can distinctly remember the Johnny Cage and Scorpion fight scene in the Mortal Kombat movie. It was my favorite one. Scorpion's always been my favorite character in the series. And I just remember reenacting that fight scene several times as a kid. But anyway, as I'm like geeking out that this guy is here, like I watched this guy countless times in that movie, play my favorite character. And here he was in front of me, and he made this presentation, and he was talking about birthday parties for kids at his martial arts school. And he went through this presentation, and as he was delivering it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect webinar. It's just live, and so he's going through all the ins and outs of the way it's set up. And by the end of it, I'm like, I'm not even a gym owner, but I want to buy this, because how could you not make money with this? It was like my beliefs, and I'm not even a kid person at all. It's like, I don't have kids, don't want kids. We can't have kids, but it is what it is. But I remember by the end of that presentation, I was like, it's like I was just mind blown. I had experienced it again, and I can remember the first time I was on the Funnel Hats webinar and having the aha moments about why you need a sales funnel instead of a website. Thanks for Russell. And it's like, this thing is powerful. It's like, just learn this framework. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, stop doing it the Marty way, do it the right way. So this happens a lot more often than I would like to admit, but here we are. So the plan was, I was going to get home and I was going to read and reread Expert Secrets again. And then I was going to make my own perfect presentation along with it. So I would read a little bit and write it down. And then I was going to, stand and deliver and do it. I was going to get over my fear. I got that from Steven Larson. It was the first person I ever heard. It was like, stand and deliver. It's like, I think of Whiskey in the Jar by Metallica. And it's like, stand and deliver. But anyway, so it's like, all that happened. And then there was this other realization that I had. I was like, there are these other little subtle nuances that obviously take a little bit of time, because I felt it as I gave the presentation. It's like, it didn't feel natural, and I wasn't exactly sure what to say at first. And then there was all these things that, the right slide at the right time, which was down, but it was like, I didn't fully understand the purpose. And it was like, just took a little while for me to fully get why everything was there. Not that I actually needed to understand, because it's like, it's perfect, don't mess with it. It was like, and I did my best not to. But the other problem was like, there's these next things too. Like, how do I actually get people to come to the webinar? And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. It is my marketing kryptonite is traffic. And it's just one of those things. It's like, I have no desire to learn too much about the tactics and techniques of how to drive traffic. It's just not my thing. It's not what I'm interested in. I'm not the kind of guy that sit down in front of the Facebook ads platform all day and just go ham. That's just not me. I'm the offer and the story guy in this game. And I'm always trying to stay in my lane and play to my strengths as much as I can, because that's where my zone of genius is. It's what I understand. But all in all, after all is said and done, I realized I had this new weapon in my arsenal that I could use to sell anything, whatever I wanted to. And as I knew that as long as I followed the process, that it was going to work, or at least had a great chance of working. And the other beautiful thing about it is, at the end of it, it's like, not only does the presentation itself transform over time after you start getting questions from the people who attend, which I love that, and I love to answer those. But also as a person, I just learned to be much more receptive to new information, and to let myself ride that emotional juice, that emotional feeling, that amped up feeling that's like, it kind of mirrors a fight right before you walk out. It's the same thing as like hitting that go live button. Sometimes it's like it's getting that same sort of feeling in and learning how to ride that and calm it down instead of letting it control you. So that's it, guys. And remember, you're just one upgrade away. All right. That felt like a good one. I'll see you guys next time. Wait. By the way, you can pick up your copy of Expert Secrets by clicking the link in the description. Like, that book literally changed my life. It was the catalyst to so many things, and I believe it's one of the most solid skills you can learn that'll serve you for the rest of your life, hidden within those pages of the book. Just click the link below the description, and it'll take you to a special offer I've got, that not only whenever you get the book, you're going to get some cool bonuses from me whenever you go through that link. So click the link in the description and tell me about it. Tell me how much it changed your life, because I guarantee it will. So I'll see you guys next time.